in the legs. Only 8 pounds between these two heavyweights. That's not a lot of disparity in this division.
No, definitely not.
3 large men inside the cage as Dan Murgliata completes the trifecta there. Sean O'Connell and Randy Couture cage side. Jared Rosholt in the gray trunks. Ali Исаев in the light blue. 5 5-minute heavyweight rounds for a world championship and $1 million. The 4th of 6 titles to be awarded tonight in PFL Season 2. Leg kick to start the action there from Jared Rosholt. Another leg kick from Rosholt. Spinning wheel kick there, just grazed Jared Rosholt. Исаев feels like he might have hurt him. Nice long hook there from Rosholt. Backs Ali Исаев up.
For a big guy, Исаев moves really, really well.
He's very athletic. Yeah, he's extremely athletic. Dives in after the right hand there on a takedown attempt. He's able to complete it. Moves immediately to side control, trying to separate Jared Rosholt from the fence where he could potentially work his way up.
It's like Исаев is going to sit to a traditional wrestling headlock here. I think the last person I seen do this was Mark Coleman years ago in the UFC. This can turn into a pretty difficult neck crank if he sets it up right.
Rosholt trying to go out the back door here, trying to squeeze his head out.
Nice job by Rosholt to use that arm across the waist and find his way out the back door, exactly like you said, Sean.
And we talked about the wrestling pedigree coming into this fight, Randy. You've got Jared Rosholt, collegiate All-American 3 times over, former Olympian in freestyle. Which style translates better to mixed martial arts? Worth noting, by the way, that back in 2008, when Ali Исаев represented Azerbaijan, he was eliminated from the Olympic tournament by the eventual champion, who then got stripped of his medal for being on steroids. So he only lost to a guy who was not only the best in the field, but was also juiced.
Yeah. He is a very, very, very good athlete. I think of the wrestling styles, the collegiate style translates to fighting much better. It's more about control, it's more about position, but we're dealing with a top-level athlete. Front choke attempt by Исаев.
Thinks better of the choke attempt and tries to go to work with a couple hammer fists there on Jared Rosholt. Rosholt works back to his feet once again. 2 takedowns, 2 escapes.
Maybe a little contrast between 155-pounders and the heavyweights.
Well, the thing that people don't understand sometimes when watching fights that start with this style, it's actually, and you know this better than anyone, Randy, it's exhausting. Yeah. Pressing a big body up against the cage, every little muscle firing. And you were doing it at what, 220 pounds against the big guys?
Yeah, well, those are 2 very big men.
Исаев stalking forward here. Rosholt pawing with his left. David Michaud out there underneath the escalator. That's the best warm-up spot at Madison Square Garden. That's where I was last year.
Nice leg kick by Jared Rosholt.
That welterweight fight will be next. Spinning back kick there from Ali Исаев. Michaud will take on Ray Cooper III. Both of those guys coming off big performances in our playoffs. Both own some knockout victories this year as well. Inside 1 minute remaining here in the first round of our heavyweight title bout. An exchange of kicks, 250 plus pounds behind all of them. Nice left hand there from Rosholt. Исаев ducks under though, forces another takedown.
Guillotine attempt by Rosholt. Not sure if it's tight, can't see his hands.
Kicking his left leg up over there. He must feel like it's worth at least squeezing on. You see Исаев fighting the hands there with his own left. Both men appear content to kind of ride out the round here. You see Rosholt somewhat nonplussed by the exchange here. 5 seconds remain in round one. One round down in the heavyweight title bout. Back in a moment.
All right, round two, gentlemen, let's go.
Welcome back to the 2019 PFL Championships. Sean O'Connell, Randy Couture. Ali Исаев opens round two with a spinning wheel kick. Heavyweight title bout in what has been an action-packed evening so far at Madison Square Garden's Hulu Theater.
Some amazing fights tonight, and 3 more amazing fights coming. The pace in this heavyweight
An
division.
illegal kick just misses there for Ali Исаев.
Was lucky that missed, because he was a downed opponent on his knees. And shin went right over Rosholt's head. And yes, 2 more championship fights tonight. An amazing action so far.
Исаев just sitting on that shoulder of Jared Rosholt. Great defense there for the low single. Исаев, the strength on display there, just shoves the 250-plus pounder. And now he elevates Jared Rosholt. Big slam. Ali Исаев isolates the right arm of Jared Rosholt. Crucifix ride here, Randy, and a tough spot for Jared Rosholt to be in.
You need to put a beeper and a light on that when he picks guys up like that. That's unbelievable.
Crossbody ride here by Ali Исаев. Jared Rosholt needs to get his right arm out from between the legs of the Dagestani fighter. 90 seconds gone here in round number 2 of a possible 5 with a heavyweight title and $1 million on the line. This is the biggest night in mixed martial arts. At present moment, quite literally biggest, with our heavyweights in the cage. 6 title fights, 6 belts, 6 $1 million prizes. Rosholt did a good job extricating himself from that crucifix position. But you can't hang out here long against Ali Исаев.
No, he's got to get his legs in the fight. He's got to start creating some distance and some scrambles and use that collegiate wrestling to get back to his feet, fight hands, and face this guy.
One of the tough things about being a wrestler of such high pedigree for a Jared Rosholt is you're not in this position often. On your back, somebody big riding you. He's usually in the reverse here, so the skill set isn't always as developed in escaping from the bottom.
Absolutely true. We are not used to spending a lot of time fighting off of our backs this way. It's one thing to bridge and not get pinned, but then you just turn and go to your stomach and find a way to get up, and that doesn't happen in fighting the same way.
When I was a high school wrestler, Randy, I grew quite adept at fighting off my back, unfortunately.
Counting lights, were you, Sean?
Inside Isayev's corner.
Punch to the body. Just like that. Go to the torso, 2 minutes. Ali, 2 minutes. Keep punching to the torso. More body punches. Put your right leg on top of him. Sit on top of him. Stride him.
Isayev's cousin, Rashid Magomedov, was a finalist last year. He lost the belt to Natan Schultz. Now he's content to be in the corner of his cousin Ali Исаев, who rides out the round on top of the 3-time All-American from Oklahoma State, Jared Rosholt, who so far has had no answer to get up off his back here.
This is a much tougher position with a 260-pound guy sitting on top of you.
The USA chance, a classic USA versus Russia matchup. Right now, unfortunately, for the home crowd at least, all Russia. Inside of 1 minute remains here in round number 2. And Randy, this is one of the criticisms of Jared Rosholt in his career. He's an excellent fighter, but there's sometimes questions about how much urgency he puts in when there's situations where he could finish from the top or he needs to get out from the bottom. People wonder if he's really going all the way as hard as he can. Now, I know, easier said than done to get out from under Ali Исаев, but that's what the criticisms have been.
Well, I just think heavyweight fights, especially heavyweights like this, is a much different pace. It's a different animal than every other weight class in this sport.
Absolutely true. Ali Исаев in the blue trunks, riding out the round here after the high elevation dump. Round 3 next. Third of potentially 5 rounds here as these heavyweights square off. Jared Rosholt, the American, in the gray trunks. Ali Исаев in the light blue, representing Russia. He opens with another spinning kick.
I'd like to see Rosso bend his knees a little more, lower his level, and throw those punches from that lower level, and keep wading into Ali that way. And he can hit him. There's a couple nice shots, and that way Ali can't get under him and double leg him the way he's been doing. Bend those knees, throw those, angle those punches up at him from an angle up.
Исаев ducks under again, charges through for another successful takedown attempt. And here he sits into that side control position again, crossbody, working on the midsection there of Jared Rosholt.
Rosholt has got to get his feet into this game and create some space. He's locked his feet in a half guard position. He's got to use those big levers, those legs, to create space, push Isayev's hips off, and create a scramble, and then use his wrestling ability and that scrambling ability to find his way out, at least back to his feet, and maybe back on top of Исаев.
Shoulder pressure, excuse me, forearm pressure there from Ali Исаев. Don't forget, Bad Boys for Life, starring Will Smith, Martin Lawrence, in theaters January 17th, just a couple weeks away. We're already into 2020, Randy. What is happening?
The roaring 20s are back.
Big right hand from the top there by Ali Исаев.
Scramble, Rosholt in on his own double leg.
Исаев looks for a choke to deter the takedown attempt. Forces Rosholt to address the hands of Ali Исаев. Back to the clinch against the cage they go. 3 minutes remain here in the 3rd round. This the 4th of 6 World Championship fights tonight. The biggest night in MMA. Don't forget, still to come on ESPN2. Kayla Harrison, Larissa Pacheco, the 2-time Olympic judo gold medalist Kayla Harrison, still undefeated. Larissa Pacheco looking for redemption.
I cannot wait to see that fight. That's going to be an amazing fight. And again, another historic fight here in the Professional Fighters League.
The first time ever that women's 155-pound gold will be up for grabs. Oh, and by the way, a handsome little $1 million check to go along with it. Kayla Harrison wouldn't mind that, I'm quite sure. Rosholt goes to work on the leg of Ali Исаев with some hammer fists. Inside of 2 minutes here in round number 3, Miragliotta steps in to encourage a little more action. Significant slowing of the pace here, as is sometimes customary of the heavyweights.
I think Rosholt could be effective in this clinch position. It doesn't appear that he spent a lot of time working on creating space to rip punches up through that space, but he's definitely in the right place. Tough for Ali to take him down or do anything to him when he's got his back to the fence.
Effective striking from these close quarters, much easier said than done, but the man next to me, one of the best to ever do it. So if you can get a Randy Couture tip or two, you might find some success here. They reverse position, and now Ali Исаев goes to work with some uppercuts and a knee or two. Rosholt answers, trying to punish the inside leg there. Dan Miragliotta's seen enough against the cage. 1 minute remains here in round number 3. He wants more action. Back to the center they go. Исаев showing a little bit of fatigue, still able to duck under that left hand from Rosholt. Uppercut attempt from Rosholt as Исаев tries to dive in.
Nice little leg sweep by Rosholt.
Nice right hand from Исаев.
That one was on the button.
And we saw what happened against Dennis Goltsov when he let his hands go. Immense power behind that 265-pound frame. Ali Исаев, somewhat reluctant so far in his career to really put punching combinations together. A 4th round ahead at a heavyweight, that means something. We'll find out what when we come back. Fourth round, Jared Rosholt, 30 fights deep in his MMA career, never been to a 4th round. Ali Исаев, only 8 fights under his belt. He has not been to a 4th round either. Heavyweight gold on the line, and another wheel kick there from Ali Исаев. That's 4 for 4. He starts every round with one.
They all landed, and that one landed on the jaw of Jared Rosholt.
Shrugs it off. Sean O'Connell and Randy Couture beside the PFL Smart Cage. Rosholt looking to go to work. Right hand sneaks over the top, but now he just presses into the body of Ali Исаев. Both of these guys headed to the corner between rounds 3 and 4, Randy. A little worse for the wear. Fatigue, obviously, a big factor in a heavyweight bout that goes into the deep rounds.
Absolutely. It's tough to find big opponents to train with, to make yourself work as hard as you need to work, especially here in championship territory in the 4th and the 5th round, the guys that are 260-plus pounds.
Requires a lot of oxygen to supply all of the tissues in those big bodies. And right now, Jared Rosholt pressing Ali Исаев against the cage. We don't know how the judges have scored this so far, but as we head into round number 4, it doesn't feel like anyone's really in definitive, serious control of this fight.
Yeah, nobody has broken this open yet. I mean, we've seen a couple of nice things. Obviously, Isayev's had the takedowns, and Rosholt spent a fair amount of time on his back, especially in that 2nd round, but nobody really broke it open and done anything definitive to distinguish himself from the other guy.
Now the stars are out tonight here at the Hulu Theater. Mick Foley, WWE Hall of Famer, and by the way, known PFL fan. He's here tonight. Three minutes remain here in round number 4. Ali Исаев, of course, Randy, in this USA versus Russia matchup. He's part of that Dagestani fight lineage. You know, as you said, he represented Azerbaijan in the Olympics, but his roots are in Dagestan, and obviously we have a lot of those guys in the PFL fight roster. They are ubiquitous in the PFL, UFC, Bellator. They're everywhere in the fight world.
Absolutely. It's a rich, rich history in combative sports in Russia in general, and certainly in Dagestan.
They come up hard. When you talk to them, really any fighter from that Caucasus region, and you ask them what the secret is, why the guys from there are so tough, they say we grow up in hard conditions. It makes you a hard person, and then you can show that in these fights. And now Ali Исаев successfully drags Jared Rosholt to the ground one more time in an otherwise rather uneventful round number 4, as the cardio is really starting to become a factor here. 2 minutes remain.
We've seen 4 takedowns now by Исаев, and that's really been the difference in this fight. Rosholt spent too much time on his back. Just does not have an answer for the top position of Исаев.
Some effective ground and pound here from that left hand of Ali Исаев.
Here's the smart cage tracking in the cage, and you see 89% of this fight is taking place right here on the outside of the cage, and most of that has been with Rosholt on his back.
Or at least his back pressed up against the cage. Ali Исаев in control here, on top in round number 4. Big left hands landing there for Ali Исаев.
Trying to
Some heavy
finish here.
pressure.
Russell's in trouble.
Is it enough?
Yeah, I
Russell
think
is
the
no
referee's
longer
looking at
defending.
it. He's going to step in and stop the fight.
Ali Исаев pours it on for a heavyweight championship. Dan Mergliano waves off the attack in the 4th round. Just when you thought that it was slowing down, Ali Исаев lands a heavy left hand from side control and pounds it out. Phil's take on Deshaun Watson and the AFC South champion Houston Texans from NRG Stadium. Our coverage starts with postseason NFL Countdown at 3 Eastern, noon Pacific. Both are live on the ESPN app.